Hello, my friends, and welcome back to my library. This week, I have expanded my list to 10, and we are covering series. Now, this is across all genres, and I'm probably going to start organizing these by, least favorite to most favorite in future videos, but for this week, this is the last hurrah of just in no particular order. I really like all of these series. Yes, some more so than others, but there are several of them that are neck and neck across the board, so I would be hard pressed to find ones that I could say, this is number one versus, number 10. So, we're going to start with one of my absolute favorite series of all time. This is called The Last Dragonlord by Joanne Burton. It's a series of 3 books. And I was in love. From the moment I first turned the first page and started reading, I was in love. The absolute beauty of the story in and of itself, the character development, the world building, all of it was just amazing. And, just in the mind of a woman who has worked so hard to get where she wanted to go in her career. She's got everything. She's got family. She's got her own ship. She's, captain of a merchant ship in a merchant family. She is happy, happy, happy. And then she meets a guy and things start taking a weird twist. And then there's royalty and politics and magic, and it just goes haywire. And yeah, so well done, so worth the read. Trust me. Absolutely phenomenal series. Look into it. If you like fantasy, you will not at all be disappointed. It's a fantastic series of books. And the one I was talking about was just the first one because I don't want to give away spoilers, and pretty much all of that is handed to you on a silver platter to start with. So really trying not to give you things that you don't want to hear. All right, the second on my list, From the Ashes by Megan Brunner. So for those people who really like Ren fairs and dressing up and playing as though you're part of a bygone era and turkey legs and jousts and, singing winches and all the fun things, this book is set at a Ren fair, and it's actually from the perspective of some people who work there versus people who go there for fun. And not only does it have all of that awesomeness, because it is very rare I have stumbled across books about that kind of, situation, or setting, I should say, that kind of setting. It also throws in all the fun fantasy-esque things like magic, and, you've got some bardic fun going on in there as well. It is a fantastic series of books. I cannot tell you how many times I have reread this series. All of them are fantastic. And the character development is probably the thing that I fell in love with the most. Across the board, all of the characters mentioned are so unique and so real. I felt like I met my best friends that I never knew I wanted, but now really do. Like, I wish these people were real because I would so want to be their buddy. So much fun. And the humor that is sprinkled throughout it is phenomenal. Seriously, cannot recommend it enough. Love this series of books. Number 3, The Mists of Avalon by Marion Zimmer Bradley. I know I cannot be the only one in love with these books because I know they are very, very popular. I actually was reminded of this series by the last review that I did for Of Crowns and Legends. Definitely a fantastic read in and of itself, but it reminded me of this series of books, and I have not read them in years, but I thought, you know what? I need to reread the story because I remember loving these books so much. In fact, I'm pretty sure I have flashbacks to the story occasionally when something just sparks my memory. And I think back to that story and think, oh man, I really should be reading that again. What I do know is something that has shaped our concept of what chivalry is and what being a lady and a gentleman is, and the high ideals of a time long past. And I think that books like this take a piece of that. They carve it off and they shape it into their own thing, which, having a legend of that size and making a piece of it your own, just seems incredible to me. And so all the love for authors who take the time and the effort to do something like that. Writing is hard enough. When you're trying to take it that step further with something already so big, all the props, man. All right, I know I've mentioned this series before, and I'm going to mention it again. The Honor Harrington series is one that I just really love. And I know I mentioned it in my list of favorite science fiction books, but I was talking about the first book, I think, in that particular one. Or maybe it was series. This series is something that I feel is very special, for many, many reasons, and not the least of which is because there's that something for everyone aspect. Furthermore, I really feel that I connected to the main character on a personal level almost from the beginning. Certainly not 100%, but I could empathize with her on the things, or sympathize with her on the things that, I didn't connect with necessarily personally. And in a lot of ways, she is the hero I wish I could be. How she overcomes all of the challenges that not only follow her, but seem to inundate her. How she can stand firm in the face of adversity and protect others is mind-boggling. Because for me, I was the kid who didn't want to be the princess. I wanted to be the knight. And that's what I feel she is. She is a futuristic version of what a knight should be. A leader, somebody who will fight for others and stand strong against all who would dare attack. So that's what I love about the books. Along with the science fiction aspects, and a lot of the technology I think was very cool, and of course the tree cats. But there's so much to love, and it's so worth having a look at. All right, next one on my list is a murder mystery series set just after the Civil War in the United States. Still Life with Murder by P.B. Ryan. If you have not read these books and you like murder mystery, and you especially period murder mysteries, you cannot get much better than that. Especially as it feels like the author really did her homework. I mean, the details felt real. Whether they are historically accurate or not, I could not 100% say, because I am by no means a historian, nor am I an expert, but it felt real. And to me, that's the most important part. If you can convince me that what I'm reading is real and make my mind be able to see it, then you have won in my book. You're talking Irish descent, East Coast, and having to deal with, even though they weren't nobility with titles, they might as well have been in the American scheme, because they were old money. Old money with old money values when the country was still new, and still used to European standards in a lot of ways. And money also talks. So you know, everything's still being set up. You've got a woman who has to hide so much of her life just to survive and to live in a world that was built for not her. And the things she has to go through as she tries to help this woman who has helped her so much. And this little girl she cares for like she's her own. And of course, there's romance involved as well. And it's one of the few romances that I actually can say that I sat down and I could not stop reading and I looked forward to. This is the kind of book series that I cannot stop singing the praises of. And definitely pick up this book if that at all sounds like that, your kind of thing. All of these links will be down in the description with Amazon affiliate links. Check them out. It is so worth it. All right, another Arthurian thing. And this one I kind of put in there because it was one of my fun reads. Like, this is not one that I'm going to die on the hill for, but definitely a cool read. And again, we're talking Arthurian legends, only this time it's King Arthur and Her Knights by K.M. Shea. Was a little uncertain when I read the back of the book what I was getting myself into, because this could have gone so wrong. But I was really impressed with how the author wrote this. When you're doing this kind of gender bend on legends, oh boy, you're taking a risk. Especially as you have to think of all of the many problems that would come from it. I mean, yeah, Arthur's supposed to be young at this time, very new to the whole concept of royalty and ruling and all of that. All of the fun with the fact that he's supposed to be supporting his stepbrother, was it? Well, I thought this was really well done. I enjoyed it. I legitimately enjoyed it, and I really wasn't sure if I was going to or not. This is 100% a series of books, each one of them very crucial to the story, and yeah, I really felt it was really well done. It was a full package, so at the end I didn't feel terribly disappointed. I thought it was wrapped up well. You got some time traveling fun going on here as well, so yeah. If it's at all interesting for you, pick it up. It's worth it. It was a fun read for me. I enjoyed it. All right. This next one is another Royal Road book, and a series of books, actually. Beneath the Dragoneye Moon by Selkie Myth. This one's coming up as a review. It's a very interesting reincarnation type thing, and yes, I toss those out a lot. I tend to have fun with that particular storyline. I liked how the author wrote this because it's an interesting world. You have some common tropes in there, true. However, even saying that, the way those tropes are used was relatively unique in a lot of ways. The way the author kind of threw curveballs I wasn't expecting occasionally, always a plus in my book, because a lot of times it's pretty predictable where a story's going to go. You may get a couple of things you weren't anticipating, but normally it's not hard to figure out who's the baddie, who's the goodie, and ultimate good, ultimate evil, rinse and repeat kind of thing. Or even if it's not ultimate good, ultimate evil, it's personal struggle, resolution, gotta get the man, got the man. A lot of that same old. But this one, I have yet to really notice anything resembling romance. I have noticed a lot of the personal development side of things. Somebody who is stuck in a situation they don't really like is determined they will make their own way and do their own things and become stronger in the process. And that is something I will always respect. All right, this is one I've done a review on already. It is one of my favorite series again. Now we're talking some good old-fashioned vampire werewolf fun times, and that is Sleight of Hand by Mark Henwick. Once more, such a good series. It's one of those stick around for the long haul types. Still waiting for the next book anxiously. Cannot wait for it to come out. And it's been a bit of a wait. Still, every time he puts one of these books out, it is so worth that wait because he takes his time to really make it a fantastic read. And he really goes in with the emotional side of things, which I feel like quite often is lightly touched on in a lot of stories because emotions are hard. Relationships, not just romantic, but just relationships, familial and friendship and business. Or if you're talking something fantasy-esque, if you have like your relationship between your commoners and your nobility, that kind of thing. All of that can be extremely complex and deep. And I think a lot of times it's made very simple because it's easier to understand and it's easier to write. He does not do that. This is 100% looking at all the warts with nothing in between. You are given raw feels. I have cried, and I am not ashamed to admit it. I have cried on some of these books. All right. The Alex Wolfe Mysteries series by Allison Naomi Holt. Again, another series of books that I absolutely love and have done a review on. I love the comedy in this. It's not going to be for everyone, but I even have a family friend who decided to start this series after my review and ended up falling in love with it as well. Trust me when I say, if you're in for a lighthearted-esque type murder mystery adventure, not quite cozy, but still close, lots of fun comedy and humor and lots of fun wit, definitely worth it. Plus the fact that the author was a cop for 20 years, so you've got that real vibe going on as well. I cannot say enough how much I love these kinds of stories where you have an author who's taken something from reality and incorporated it into a story, no matter how out there that story might be. Taking that time and putting that in there makes it feel real. It makes it so much better. And so those are the kinds of books I cannot stop telling people, read this, read this, read this, because it's just so well done. All right, and the last one on my list is A Medieval Tale by Lena J. Potter. There's a lot to love about this series, and there's a lot I wish to see in the series. It's pretty clear to me that the author is relatively new author from the writing, and that's okay. You know, everybody starts somewhere. I really liked, though, the storyline. I really liked the fact that, once again, you don't have absolutes. There's no absolute good or evil, but you definitely start cheering for certain groups of people as the story goes on. And it's taking a little more real look at certain aspects of the timeline as well. Nowhere near would I say this is historically accurate per se. But, again, if you could convince my mind that it's real, props to you, I call that a win. And there were many aspects of this book that did feel very real as I was reading it. I like the main character a lot. I have aspects of the book that hurt my soul, but that's because of my own particular viewpoints and biases, not because there's anything wrong with the book. I can honestly tell you that this is one of those that I also read and reread frequently because, like I said before, you get that realistic vibe when you're sitting there reading the book. And again, the characters are amazing and the world building is amazing. So you have three major wins in that: story, character, world building. It's it could have used some more love with the editor is my only thing. Outside of that, fantastic story, I think. So yeah, that is my 10 books. I really hope you guys have the opportunity to try some of these out. They are all really good stories, very much worth a read. Some of them are, self-published, and some of them are traditionally published, but across the board, definitely worth looking into. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And in case you were wondering, this is one of the shirts I was talking about that will be in our store at one point, and also will be for the giveaway that is going to be coming up very, very soon if we manage to get to 200 subscribers. We have, let's see, less than 40 left to get to 200, so we're getting there, guys. Tell your friends, send some love. Yeah. Thanks again for coming and watching. May your day be epic, and may awesomeness follow you like a puppy needing hugs. Bye all.